Okay, fifth graders, so today for social studies, we are going to be continuing looking at different explorers and their routes of exploration to the New World. If you remember in past lessons in this chapter, we've been looking at different explorers like Christopher Columbus, we've looked at John Cabot, Hernan Cortez, Juan Ponce de Leon, but today we're going to go ahead and look at a new explorer named Jacques Cartier. Okay? And again, if you need some extra help today, you can always look at these Britannica facts here on Jacques Cartier, and I will be posting this video for some extra help as well. Okay, so before we hop into the textbook here, I just want to go over the questions that we will be answering today as we go through this textbook. And these questions are the same types of questions we've been looking at with past explorers. Okay, so you'll be finding a couple of interesting facts about Jacques Cartier's personal background. You will be looking at what country sponsored his voyages and what year he began exploring, as well as what year he ended his exploration. You'll also be looking for a reason or a motivation that Jacques Cartier explored. And finally, you'll have two different questions here that are going to ask you to be drawing something. And for this question here, you'll be drawing the route that Jacques Cartier took on his exploration. And finally, you will be circling one of these 5 different options for what impacts Jacques Cartier had as he went on these different explorations. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the textbook here and see if we can find out these answers to the questions here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and read through this section, and I'll be highlighting different important things that we see as we go through the section. And then we'll come back at the end to see if we can answer our questions with the information that we found in the chapter here. Okay, so section 5.6, Jacques Cartier. In 1521, Spain reached Asia by sailing around the southern tip of South America. Explorers had learned that the Americas lay between Europe and Asia, but people still thought that China was not far beyond the west coast of North America. So King Francis, the first of France, hoped to reach China's riches by sailing across North America, but no one had looked for such a water passage, okay? And it's important to keep in mind King Francis here, and that he was from France. So in 1534, this is an important date here, the French king sent an experienced sailor and navigator, Jacques Cartier. All right. And again, so that's a little bit of help with our personal background here. We know he was an explorer, okay? An experienced sailor and navigator. This is prior to when he sailed on his first exploration here. And he wanted to find this Northwest Passage, okay? And that is important as well, that he wants to find the Northwest Passage. Cartier sailed west to Newfoundland in present-day Canada, okay? So he sailed west. He entered a large gulf through a strait, a narrow waterway between 2 large land areas. And he claimed the surrounding land for France. That is important as well. Then he saw a waterway leading west, but his ship was low on food, so he had to return to France. Okay. So the next year, let me just get a different color here. The next year, King Francis, once again, sent Cartier back to explore and map the waterway. So this also is important to know that he wanted to explore and map the waterway here. Cartier reached its mouth on the feast day of St. Lawrence. He named the river St. Lawrence. With Indian guides, he sailed almost 1,000 miles upriver until his boat could go no further. And this is some good information about what routes he was taking. All right, and where he went. Let's see here. He visited an Indian village and brought its chief back to France. The chief told the king of great riches farther west. So he wanted some great riches that were further west here. And then if we go back, yep. In 1541, the king sent Cartier on a third voyage to set up a French empire in North America. Okay, so he wanted to set up a French empire in North America. He took more than 100 settlers. After enduring 2 harsh winters, Cartier and the settlers gave up. In 1542, they returned to France. Still, Cartier had staked France's claim in North America. 60 years later, New France had its first permanent settlers. And again, it's important to know here that he claimed that land for France in North America here. Okay, so let's go ahead and look back at those questions that we have to answer and see if what we just looked at throughout this chapter can help us answer those questions. Alright, so again, listing at least 2 interesting facts about Jacques Cartier. Well, we looked here and we saw that he was an experienced sailor and a navigator. Okay, and then if we look at the Britannica facts here, we can see some more information on Jacques Cartier, such as that he was born in St. Malo, France. Okay, and it does say very little was known about his early life, but you can find enough there to get 2 interesting facts at least. And then let's see here, we have what country sponsored his voyages, and if we saw in the chapter, we saw that King Francis I of France, he sponsored his voyage. He sent him to find the Northwest Passage. Okay, and he actually sent him on multiple voyages, as we saw throughout this chapter. And again, King Henry was from France. Okay, and then what year did he begin exploring, and what year did his exploration end? So we saw that in 1534 was the first year that the French king sent him on his voyage, and in 1542 was when they returned to France. Okay, and again, they went on different voyages. He sent him in 1541 on a different voyage. Okay, so that's that information there that'll help us out. And then give a reason or a motivation that Jacques Cartier explored. Let's see what we found. So we know that Jacques Cartier wanted to find the Northwest Passage here. Okay, we also know that Jacques Cartier wanted some greater riches that were further west. They were looking for greater riches further west, and just riches in general he was looking for. All right. And then let's see, we have to find this route of exploration that he took. And there's multiple times in this chapter where it showed where he was traveling here. So it showed that he entered a large gulf through a strait. Lots of different information here. And then he also has this map here that shows exactly what route he took. So it shows here that he came right down here kind of through Canada and then made it through that strait there. Okay, and there's some more information in this paragraph as well about where he sailed exactly. And finally, what impacts did Jacques Cartier have? Well, again, we saw in the chapter that he made some claims in North America for France. Okay, we saw some information saying that he was going on these explorations to explore and map the waterway here that we saw. King Francis sent him to do that. Alrighty, and that should be about it. Alright, so hopefully all of that helped you answer these questions here, and I will see you next time.